Hey guys, welcome back to a new DNN video. My name is Nox, the N of DNN. Whew, I am so glad to be here and so excited. There's just so much to be said, so much catching up to do. And yeah, I hope you guys were able to check out Divine's previous video. If you haven't, pause, go check it out and come back. And we're gonna have some fun today. I'm really going to just be talking about and continuing on the trend or the path that Divine started about just life in quarantine. Where have we been? What have we been up to? And what is to come? So I hope you guys are going to enjoy this incredible session with me, Nox, your girl, Nox Callie, your girl, and we're going to have so much fun today. And yeah, just stay tuned. So guys, I think to really get down to the crux of this video is what have I been up to during quarantine, what has happened in my life, the changes, and of course, what is currently happening and where am I, what am I busy with, what am I doing? So number one is that for the quarantine, as Divine previously mentioned in the video, it was supposed to be like a brief stint, it was April. We all were supposed to go home for like 2 weeks. Yay, 2 week holiday. What? Lies. We were in quarantine for 3 months. And it was a big adjustment, I think, for all of us. And what it boils down to in this video, I will be talking about the pros and cons of lockdown in the context of my life and just briefly in the context of a nation. So yeah, just bear with me. This is all my perspective, so don't get there. So yeah, as I said, so I went home like most people who were fortunate enough to go home, and I was with my family, my beautiful family, my mom and my three gorgeous, loving, fun and cute sisters. So we were all at home and it was really an amazing time. And I think more so initially because we actually the time that the lockdown happened, it was supposed to be a holiday for me in my medical program, a week off. Wow, holiday much. And yeah, so we went to Durban with my family. We were a little bit homesick because that's where I'm from, so we're like, we need the ocean, whatnot not. However, as I said, it was supposed to be like a 2 week situation. We were supposed to come back, and that week when the president announced that we were closed, I was actually supposed to write. So count your lucky stars, lad. Supposed to write that week. I think it was like a Thursday, Friday, and the president was like, "Honeys, we're closing this joint on the Wednesday." So I was just like, "Namaste." Really, really happy. And but I took my books with me to Durban because I was like, girl, gonna be on the beach, studying, sipping cocktails. What a life. And yeah, so that was the plan, only to find out that once again it was going to be an extended lockdown. So yeah, quickly when they were shutting down the country, my family and I decided to say deuce Durban. We literally spent like 3 days there, then we came back here to Bloemfontein. And when we got back, once again, I didn't expect that it was going to be a lockdown for like forever. The plan was to just take a little control COVID. That was the plan, but that ended up not happening. Came back here, was going to spend time with the family, great. And for the first couple of days, great. Family, I've missed them, haven't seen them in a while, catching up, loving each other, really bonding. It was really amazing. And obviously through that journey, there was also a lot of like family tension and friction at times, and I think more so internally than externally, simply because once again you're coming into an environment that you don't have permanent residence in. It's your family. You have to adjust to each other again. There's all of this like sort of like, oh, I'm feeling you again, space shifting, because obviously when you're not there, your family has a lifestyle and a way of life, and when you're not there, you also have your own. So space and privacy and all these things became like an issue for me, but it wasn't aggressive where I was just like, I want to leave home. It was more of little irritation or bouts of irritation here and there. And as I said, this is about pros and cons of lockdown. I know for a fact that some of you, when you were home, really did not necessarily enjoy it for various reasons, whether it's the fact that you don't have great relationships with some of your family members, or home is a toxic environment, and I really empathize and sympathize with that. So it really can be so difficult, and this season of having to deal with this infection worldwide has really, I believe, brought to light or highlighted again certain things that we may have been struggling with, certain habits or certain dependencies that we've had, whether it's on human beings or habits or social context, whatever, has highlighted sort of that. And I do believe that all of us had a pause where we just had to stop and low key and high key evaluate our lives. And that also came to light for me as well. So I was at home, and what I did was basically I still stuck to my study routine. So most days, I mean, like 90% of the days that I was at home, I was studying, whether waking up in the morning to study or whether studying like an all-nighter. So it was, a bit of a touch and go studying, but every day I was in it, because I really knew and understood that, okay, if this lockdown extends to months, which it did, when I got back, there was so much work that would have been waiting for me. So it was so important for me to keep up to date, and also for a level of sanity. Because I mean, sitting at home for 3 months doing nothing, or what? How many movies can you watch? How many times can you repeat Titanic? How many times? You know what I mean? So it really was just trying to keep myself busy on a day to day. So I had my sisters, we would really have a lot of fun. We'd work out together. They're really small, so we'd do some fun videos, and they really motivated me to keep fit. Had my mom, obviously, for that adult, interaction, which was really great, and also just catching up with her. And then had school, had, gym, social life, and fortunately our program decided that they wanted to have a 10-week online program, where we then had classes which were really grueling, I must say. I think in retrospect, I'm happy. It's like, yay, we know we're actually, but during that season, it was just like, oh my gosh, do I have to get up at 8 in the morning to stare at a camera? Pros was, I don't know if you guys were having Zoom calls or anything like that, but doing Zoom calls and, these online calls in your PJs, was amazing. There was this one time our doctor was like, no, I'd like to see your face. And Loki, I was like, Doc, I'm crusty, so you don't want to see all of that. So wonderful. Okay, so moving on with that. Another thing that I can honestly say about the lockdown, and it's actually the crux of the matter, is that it brought to light certain things within myself and around myself that, like Divine said in the previous video, we're so much on the go. Like 24/7. I don't know why I'm making those sounds, but it makes sense. We're constantly just going at it, not stopping. We, like I was posting on the other day, if you haven't seen my Instagram, check out Knox Scaly. But on my Instagram, I posted that, especially, once again, it's a subjective thing. We're on the go constantly, and we're missing the greatest parts of our lives with this thing that we have to, I mean, warranted, we have to strive for our goals and our dreams. I mean, it adds purpose and value to our lives. But what is life? Is life achieving goals, or is life living a life you can be proud of? Living each moment, enjoying every single step of your journey, your age, your youth. And I felt like there was so much of that where I was just like, I feel like I'm losing some of my youth to stressing about degree or becoming this businesswoman, or the list goes on and on. And I felt that God was just like sort of centering me, saying, stop, breathe, enjoy your youth, your time. You will never be here again. You will never do this young thing again, and whatever age you are, 40 is still young, 50 is young, 10 is young. You will never be at that age again. Once that season of your life passes, or that year, it's gone. And a lot of us became so negative. I remember there was this like negative, like memes flying everywhere, where it was just like, our lives are over. We can just cancel 2020. No, we can't cancel 2020. 2020 is part of your life, and 2020 is needed. It's needed for so many reasons. And I go to the pros now. It's needed because we needed this time to actually talk and connect. And we didn't connect face to face, but we were able to really connect to social media, which brings light to the fact that social media can be a positive medium. Like, I'm bringing you this incredible video, right? Like and subscribe. It can really be positive because we were able to communicate and get information from one end of the world to the other end of the world, what's happening in our world. So many things were just brought up, like it was like a volcano waiting to erupt, from Black Lives Matter to GBV, which is gender-based violence, to so many things that were just bubbling under the surface, and we're sort of not giving it the full and the right attention because we're constantly on the go. We don't have time for anything else but ourselves. And it was just so beautiful to see like this uproar of angry, upset human beings who just generally had the time to sit and think about and reflect about what are the pressing issues in society. Pride Month, June, Black Lives Matter, like all these things that we're sort of like wishy-washy, fly past, were able to just come out. And I just feel like, for me personally, it was needed. It was needed across the globe. It was needed right here in my nation. So thank you to the season. And once again, for me, it was also a thing of being well informed. There were certain things that I felt like I wasn't really up to par with. A lot of the times we always like to have opinions when someone asks, okay, what do you think about, GBV? What do you think about Pride? What do you think about this? And sometimes you don't have a response. Some of us pretend to know everything. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But actually, we don't have a response because we're not well clued up. In essence, we're ignorant. And it was so nice to just have a time to just read up about stuff, to engage with online platforms that were, there were so many Zoom calls that you could tune into for free and have discussions or listen into things, or just catch up on YouTube, TED Talks and things like that that you like to tune into. So really getting informed, reading, got to read incredible book which I haven't finished, unfortunately, but I really hope to finish it close to the end of next month. Got to read some books, got to just watch films, relax. And once again, this is a perspective and from a place of privilege. I do have the ability to have internet and books and a safe environment for me to connect and read and get myself up to date. And I do understand that some people, and a lot of people, didn't have that opportunity, which I will get to. So that was really, really fun. Got to connect with my friends, try new stuff, really just had a ball. So there were so many cons. I think connecting with my family, knowing the fact that next year most likely I won't be with them because I'll start my internship, was just, I thank God for that. I also thank God for just being able to connect with God. Divine mentioned about just sitting with your thoughts. How this time really highlighted that for me, there's certain mental issues that we struggle with as people and as myself. Just sitting with your thoughts. Like, you sit there for days and days, like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on in my mind. Ugh. It was really just amazing to just sit with your thoughts and be like, okay, Knox, what are you thinking about? What's making you happy? What's making you sad? What's making you concerned? Spiritually, psychologically, physically, mentally, what's draining you? What's adding life? It was just such a pleasurable thing to experience, but also a very heavy thing, because you realize how small we are as human beings. I remember there was a time quite recently where I just really had this desire in my heart to just pray for the world. But I was so sad and so like heavied by that, because I was like, but what can I do? Like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm stuck in quarantine. This is where I'm at, But then also at the same time, as I said, the mental thing was that, but it's not like you were doing anything when you weren't in quarantine. Reality. So there were so many of these conversations I was having with myself to say that, are you doing enough as a human being? Like, are you doing more than just doing yourself? Are you talking about more than just talking about yourself? Are you praying about more than just praying about yourself? Which I think a lot of us do. There's nothing wrong with praying and taking care of yourself. In fact, I'm one of the biggest advocates for self-care, because I do believe if you're not healthy inside being mentally, your heart, your spirit, you generally won't give your best outside, and you probably won't treat people the best outside because you're not treating yourself well. So I do believe in that, but I do believe there's a fine line where then it has to be, okay, I'm taking care of and I'm very self-aware. Now I need to be aware, like around me, what's going on with the people around me, To continue with the cons, I think physically just taking care of myself. I mean, now it's honestly fallen off the wagon because of the way the program is structured. Everything is condensed. Like most of the rotations that we have been squished into like less weeks. So the velocity of work plus the decrease of time has really, it's like science. The pressure is like increased, you know what I mean? It just became really like it's become pressure, and so a lot of the things that I love doing have been neglected, and I think that's okay. I've really made peace that, sometimes in your life there are seasons where you just have to bury your head in work, and that's all you're tending to, and there are seasons in your life where you'll get to do any and everything that you want to do. And so you just have to be patient and sometimes just ride out that wave, because yeah. So I do thank the season of the lockdown and quarantining to just really allow me to reflect, connect, think, feel. I mean, we don't even have time to feel. Like, what is that? Like, you can't even, oh, my heart just got broken. I'll wait till December till I pick that emotion up. Right now I gotta work. Right now I gotta hustle. Right now I gotta be. Really, I really want to break that over my life, because what happens is that you really just carry a lot of baggage and life just becomes heavier than it really needs to be. There really needs to be time and ways for us to deal with our emotions and our mental states healthily, and our spiritual states healthy and in safe spaces, and to not feel like you don't have the right and the place to do that, really. But anyway, let's move forward. So in terms of like the cons, I just want to highlight on that, like, I want to send out my love, my respect to each and every individual who went home knowing that their home environments were not safe, were not healthy, were not conducive for the very things that I was talking about mental health and spiritual health and physical health and psychological health. I I cannot express my heartfelt empathies and sympathies with you. I really just want to say, if you made it through that, and I'm not trying to be funny, like, you made it through that alive and sane, wow, like, kudos to you. And you must have another strength that God has given you that nobody has an inkling or a clue or an idea. And I know that many people are in the same situation as you, and I really just pray for comfort and healing if you're still at home and you're still experiencing that, or if it's gotten better and there was certain family issues, once again a pro, that were resolved because this time forced us all to just be together and communicate. And I hope that was the case for you. Then we thank God. Okay, so now what have I been up to? So from June we had come back to school, came back to my place, so had to pick up classes and everything like that. And it is a bit of touch and go, and I totally empathize with our faculty, because once again, nobody told us that 2020 was going to be like this. Nobody said, hey guys, just want to let you know around April, there's a big fat infection that's going to really just wreak havoc on so many levels. So yeah, so I came back to school classes, once again knowing that there's a risk. So there were many procedures and places and things that were in place to make sure that we got the proper screening, and obviously the protective gear that we need to wear whenever we're dealing with patients, because we were also exposed, and dealing. And the thing is, people be like, okay, exposed, non exposed. At the end of the day, until someone tests positive for the virus, you know what I mean? You could come into contact with anybody at any time. And I'm not just speaking about in the hospital setting, wherever you go. So it was just that adjustment of having to constantly protect yourself, having to really just be thorough when it comes to like washing hands and discarding of used certain things, wiping with disinfectants. So those adjustments, and just also, you know, coming into contact with people who are ill, and the potential, obviously doctors who work even closer with patients who are ill. What happened was that actually I ended up having, with my group, because we were all divided into groups, having to quarantine for 2 weeks because of the fact that I came in contact with a doctor who had tested positive. So it was really just like an experience of a lifetime. this is history, you know. In 100 years time, people will be talking about this, saying, hey, in 2020, 2020, there was this thing that happened. And you know, just like we you know, we speak about the bubonic plague that happened so many years ago, and many other crazy, wild, you know, things that have happened to the world globally, you know. So just that adjustment was insane. And once again, having to just learn so much in such short spaces of time, and this adapting that happened was really like quite intense. I mean, I'm keeping it together, I'm holding it together, thanks be to God and a great support system. But yeah, it's tough. Yeah. So that's basically been that. And I've just been really, really loving the fact that I'm in this profession called medicine, and soon to be a medical doctor. Thank you, Jesus. I received 2021 January internship. Lord, hey, but yo, when I get this degree, I know. For y'all who know what I'm talking about, you just know. And so what was I saying now? Like, I even lost my trail of thought because it's a while. Oh yeah, I was just saying, like, just the I made peace with the fact that I have to just work, and I'm living in this time, and I have to do what I have to do to get to where I have to get to. And this leads to my ending message, is that no matter what 2020 and 2021 and 2022, all the way up until your whole entire lifetime, life is going to throw things in your direction, sweet, sour, merry, not merry, at any time, at any place. You will never forecast it. You will never forecast events in your life that will deter you away from what you thought the plan of your life would be, or the tempo of your days, or the happenings of your months and years. But what's important is coming to a place where you constantly, or for the better part, have peace with yourself. Like, inside of yourself, you need to be happy and healthy, because whatever life throws, whatever season, we can't control it, and we don't know the outcome of it. But what we can do is make sure that we're healthy human beings who are going through that. It doesn't mean that you're not going to feel, it doesn't mean that you're not going to react to the situations, but it certainly means that you'll be able to hold your own and hold your ground and go through these seasons with so much grace, compassion towards yourself and those people who are around you. Because really, you are your biggest asset. When there's no you, there's no future, there's no, okay, there's work that you have to do, there's no serving, there's no so many things. The world needs you and needs the best of you. So take care of yourself, take care of your inner being, make sure that you're healthy and happy and connected and aware of yourself. By you being that, it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get angry or upset or despondent, or you know, whatever we go through in life, there's mourning, there's growth, there's growing pains. But it means that you'll be able to really be aware of what's going on and take it for what it is, a growing and learning opportunity to you being the best version of yourself. You want to build character, you want to build strength within yourself, and resilience, and all these commendable attributes to make you the person that you are destined to be. Because what's important is not about how long we've lived, it's not about what we have when we live, actually, whether you have 10 million or whether you have 1,000, but it's about the quality of life that you're living. A life that you can be proud of, a life that you can say, hey, I owned that, I did that, I owned that, you know, I did that life, I did me. Whether you're blessed with 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, 50, 100, for those who are lucky and are actually close to being immortal. Um, but you owned it, you did it, you lived it, you enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And I think 2020 has brought into perspective to really say, hey, stop. What's important? What's going on inside of you? What's going on outside of you? Are you here today? Are you living today? Are you feeling today? Are you aware today? Because the word says that let tomorrow take care of itself. Tomorrow will always bring things, but how are you doing today? How are you handling today? Can we just get through today as a healthy, open, kind, generous person? Because those attributes, when you extend them to yourself, I promise you, you will see the world differently and you'll be able to extend it to any and everybody from whatever background they come from, even when you don't identify with who they are, what they go through. But you'll be able to have grace and mercy towards them, not because you're perfect, but because you understand your imperfections and your shortcomings and you've embraced them as something that can actually propel you and make you a wholesome human being. So let's be kind to each other during the season. Yeah, this pandemic is not easy. So be safe, take care of each other, love each other. This is Knox from DNN, the end of DNN. Thank you for joining me, guys. This was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait for the next one and the next one and the next one. Divine and I have so much content for you guys. So yeah, please do stay with us. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe and click that notification button so you get the best of us. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Can't wait. I think Divine is going to be the next person, so it's going to be yummy. And I love you all. Love you, Divine. She's all the way far from me. Can't wait to see her again. And yeah, be safe.